Have you ever wondered what would happen if the Hunger Games and Saw made sweet love to each other in South Korea and made a baby they showed off on Netflix? You get Squid Game. Now, South Korean shows and films are nothing new to Netflix. I remember seeing this first episode of this one show where this angel comes in to help the detective agency. It looked a bit cheap, and corny, so I stopped watching it. What? So I'm just living my life out. Then all of a sudden, in October 2021, this show takes the internet by storm. And it's gotten so popular, even some Minecraft players are creating games based off Squid Game. With all this hype and excitement centered around Squid Game, it was inevitable, as you can tell by this video, that I was curious enough to take a watch myself. And I can guarantee you, Squid Game is legitimately great, engaging show. This miniseries offers 9 hours of, well, thrilling carnage. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, this show isn't exactly perfect. There was a subplot, as well as some last-minute revelations that could have done with a bit more fine-tuning. But I really like this show, mainly because the characters were well-written and engaging. And the show explores some immense themes. This show explores the dark side of humanity and how so many evil stuff can come out of greed and desperation. What is the story all about? The story focuses on a middle-aged South Korean man by the name of Soing Gi-hyun. Forgive me if I've mispronounced these names. Life's not going well for him as he's a gambling addict and a divorced father. And he's struggling immensely with debt. Until one day when he's traveling some trains, he encounters this fancy rich man who makes him play a game. If he loses his turns in the game, the man slaps him in the face. If he wins at any moment, he wins a lot of money. Seems simple enough. I'd be willing to get slapped to get that money, I think. I mean, what's the harm done? All you're doing is just getting slapped. You get over it, right? So after Gi-hyun wins the money, the man in the business suit offers him a card with PlayStation symbols on it. On the back of the card is a number. If he wants to play more of these kind of games to win vast amounts of money, just give him a call. Call me, beat me, everyone will reach me. Comment down below if you understood that reference. Now at that point, he has enough money to get by with his debt, but a part of him is oh so curious to get some more. At least I think he got enough money to earn the debt during that first episode. Anyway, he takes the call to get more money. But when he enters the van, he's knocked out by sleeping gas. When he wakes up, he's with over 400 other participants. Some are people he knows, and all these participants have various walks of life. Whether it be a doctor, someone escaping from North Korea trying to help their orphaned brother, a strong yet kind immigrant from Pakistan, criminals, a lady who's so crazy she shoves cigarettes up her I'm not making that up, and an old man suffering from a tumor and dementia. All of them have signed up to participate in the games, and the prize for winning the games is way over $45 trillion. I can't count. A whole lot of woo-long. There are several rules as you play each of these games which center around playground games, but I'll get to them later. Essentially, if you win each round of these games, you're through to the next round until you win the game. But if you fail the challenge, you die! Yeah, that wasn't much of a big surprise now, was it? No. But even if that revelation wasn't really surprising, it's still shocking it's still shocking enough for the viewer to realize there's more at stake here. And from this, we get to see just how far humanity would go in desperate situations like this. And things get really interesting, not just in the games themselves, but also in between the games. Because to make matters worse, people can tend to kill each other off during the nighttime. So a lot of distrust happens around multiple people, leading to several betrayals, alliances, only for some alliances to break off later on. Or perhaps that one person you look down upon can have some real value for this certain challenge. And then there's many other problems like the men tend to be physically stronger than the women. Yet the women have a few tricks up their sleeves like being smarter. Other characters whom you would think were incompetent actually have some valuable knowledge to pass through certain challenges through their own life experiences. It makes for a truly thrilling experience that grabs you from beginning to the end. And one of the episodes I find interesting is the second episode. They could have gone from game to game to game, but the players insist that they leave. But then the people running the game goes, all right, fine, you can go. Assuming that the majority of you can vote to go, you can go. You won't win the prize money, but we'll let you go. Now, this was a bit surprising at first. I was expecting them to be quite ruthless and say, no one leaves until they complete the games, but it's made clear that they're being fair. Well, depending on how you define fair with this clearly messed up situation. Because on the one hand, this organization that's running the games are really messed up people. to be making people go through all this torment and torture just for fun, and have all these pleasures at the expense of other people and their own souls. But on the other hand, the people did sign up for this, and the participants aren't exactly knights in shining... The players participating aren't exactly knights in shining armor either. As they leave the games, it's made evidently clear that they've got more chances of winning money in the deadly games than they do out in their regular lives. Okay, to be fair, they probably would have earned some wages, but it's made evident in the show that all these people have one thing in common: debt.
Well, maybe except for one person, but that would give away major spoilers.
And the tragedy of the second episode is that even though they're let home early, they still feel the need to earn that prize money to make their lives easier. And in the end, they go right back to those deadly games. Yeah, the show offers quite a fascinating critique on capitalism. Although a friend of mine said that the creator may have unintentionally made this a critique on socialism. And there's all kinds of political people spouting out their political opinions on this movie series. And there's all kinds of journalists and politicians trying to gather their own opinions as to what this could mean and what that could mean. But as far as I'm aware, the political accuracy of this show is a bit faulty anyway. At the core is a story that's about the dark side of humanity. Political or not, it delves into themes of greed and the damage that can cause. And this theme of greed is absolutely devastating in episode 6. Out of all the episodes that I've seen, even of seeing the finales, episode 6 was the most shocking. Not necessarily because of excessive gore, not because of shoving politics down your throat, but simply because of how far the motivations of these characters will drive them. Characters that you had previously looked up to in these games exploit the vulnerable weaknesses of their own friends. They lie to each other to try to get an advantage in this particular game. It's intense, it's emotional. That episode was some of the most solid and engaging content I've seen on Netflix so far. And what makes this show really work is the fact that most of these characters are so likable. You want to see them make it, even though you know fully well right off the bat that not all of them are going to make it. And it's all the more heartbreaking when there's seemingly legitimately nice people, even if there are some jerks amongst these groups. We even get to see characters who were desperate in their previous lives, but mature over time throughout these games, reflecting on what just happened, recognizing the weight of taking a human life. These people get so desperate. One woman relies on manipulating others to her advantage, whilst one man constantly prays. But for all this show's great engaging content, there are still a few flaws that go along with it. One of the main flaws is that there's a subplot involving a young cop who manages to sneak into the corporation of the games, sneaking into their building and putting on disguise and so forth, trying to find the answers to this conspiracy as to who's running the games. That subplot didn't really lead anywhere. It was also linked with the subplot of some of the men trying to sell organs from the people who got killed. That didn't really lead to anywhere either. And there are many people who felt that the capitalist message was shoved a bit too much down people's throats, especially when the American men with the fancy masks came in.
I've bet all my money on 69!
Why did you bet all your money on 69?
That's because 69 is the most beautiful number!
Ha ha ha, capitalism.
Although the cruelty of these rich men do drive home the point of the rich exploiting the poor for their own entertainment. And I'm not going to give away the main plot twist. I think it was a well-executed plot twist, but it felt a bit like it was just thrown in there at the last moment. And these subplots and last-minute revelations don't really add that much to the experience, but they don't altogether ruin the experience either. Despite the flaws I've mentioned, this is one of the most refreshing bits of entertainment on Netflix I've seen in a while. Aside from the flaws I've mentioned, this is one of the most refreshingly entertaining pieces of storytelling that I've seen for quite a while. And with Violet Evergarden the movie having been recently released in October as well, and seeing the state of Western media now, I'm beginning to think we could really value the storytelling techniques set out in Eastern countries. They seem to really care about telling legitimately good stories. Stories that focus on compelling characters and philosophical themes, instead of the vast majority of bland and obnoxious entertainment we get nowadays. How would I rate Squid Game? I think I'm willing to give this a 9.9 out of 12. What did you think of Squid Game? Let me know in the comments down below, and subscribe for more reviews and quality content on this channel. ScotsThinker signing out.